Hello and welcome to the Investor Mel Woman of Action show. My guest today is Gugu, and she has purchased 8 properties in Canada and in the US in less than 2 years. She's going to be sharing as well how she purchased it using OPM, other people's money. And if you don't know who I am yet, I'm Mel with Investor Mel and Dave and I have purchased over 240 units using none of our own money and no joint venture partners in 5 countries: Canada, the US, Mexico, Dominican Republic, and Costa Rica. And if you're not yet subscribed to our channel, please do so here, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified because we release a new video every single week. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome, Gugu, to the Woman of Action show.
Good. Thank you, Mel. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited that you're here. Now, you're all the way from Alberta, correct?
Yes, that is correct. I'm based out of Calgary in Alberta.
Okay, good. So I want to talk about your journey. So if you want to give yourself a bit of an introduction, have you always done real estate? Is this something new to you?
Yeah, so our journey started a few years ago when my husband and I had to move out of town for work. So at that point, we kind of became accidental landlords, let's say. So we just had to rent out our house because we were moving out of the province. So it was a rocky start to real estate investing in the sense that that's not really something we were thinking about at that time. So learning how to be a landlord, knowing what the expectations are for a tenant versus what my role was as a landlord, that was like a steep learning curve for us at the time. But fast forward 5 years later, I think it was about in 2020 that we started, listening to podcasts. Actually, at that time, it was more watching YouTube videos on other real estate investors, right? And it was something that was always of interest, but we just didn't know how to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it started off with just getting that education at that point. And I think the driving force behind us even looking at that was trying to find a way that we could generate some or create wealth, as my husband and I are both immigrants to Canada. So when we came here, it was the same immigrant story, really. You're starting from scratch. So we looked at it as what can we do to raise money or create wealth and be ready for retirement, because we're already, at that time, we were in our early 30s. So it was okay, we have no savings, nothing, what can we do? And real estate seemed to be something that came up that, we can create wealth through that. So that was the motivating factor in the beginning. So we started off in 2020. We bought two properties in 2020. Those were here in Alberta. And what we did with those, which is a strategy that works well here, is adding an additional suite. So creating a suite in the basement, and then you have a duplex.
So were they single dwellings and you converted them to a legal duplex or tiny suite type of thing?
Yes. So here we call them legal suites, but I think in Ontario they call it duplex, right?
Duplex.
So you got duplex conversion. I think that's the terminology. Yeah. So anyway, that's what we did. 2020, we got 2 of those, and then we were stuck because with those initial 2, we used our own funds. So it was okay. How do we scale?
Right. Yeah. I was wondering about it. Okay, so you said that, of course, as we get started, it's coming up with that 25% down for the down payment. So you wanted to do this. And I had the same roadblock, ran out of money. Okay, so you bought, and so you had purchased 2 properties at this time?
Yes.
And then typical investor roadblock.
Yeah, typical roadblock. Yeah. So what next? How is everyone else doing it? So now the challenge was, okay, we need to find out what other people are doing. How are they buying more properties? 20% down is like a lot. how do you raise that, and keep buying at such scale as what we were seeing people do. So during my research, trying to look into that, that's when I came across, I think it was a Facebook ad or something, or a webinar that you were doing. So I was like, how do they do it, right? How do Mel and Dave do it? And yeah, that was intriguing. So after listening to that, we decided to sign up, and that was a year later, 2021. So that's when we signed up with Mel and Dave, and then through that, going through the material, being in the community, watching how people were actually using OPM to get more properties. That was really inspiring actually at that time, because it was more of a mindset shift. I think, for us, it's more like, when we grew up, it was more like debt is bad. You don't want to have a lot of debt. So it was something always like, if you are in debt, your priority is to pay everything off as soon as you can. Every cent you're getting is going towards paying off debt. But anyway, through the mentorship program, we kind of had a shift, a mindset shift, to realize that there is things such as good debt and bad debt, or if you're using other people's money, how do you use it such that they benefit and you benefit as well. So yeah, that was very enlightening to go through that process.
Yeah, I love that. And it is a mindset shift for most of us, right? Because we are taught that way, the majority of us anyhow, including myself, including Dave as well. And it's shifting that mindset of, okay, yes, there's debt and good debt, and being able to recognize that. So how quickly was that mindset? Did you find that you were able to shift it very quickly? Did you find that it took a really, really long time to transition and realizing that? How, because I'm sure some out there are listening to this for the first time and thinking, what, other people's money and debt, and all those things, but what is Gugu talking about here?
Yeah, so I think it's something we had kind of been thinking of already. So when we went into the mentorship and then actually saw the process of how to do it, that's when it was like, oh, okay, this is how I can do it. Because like the concept of other people's money we'd heard of it before, but just didn't understand, what do you mean, right? What are the forms of other people's money? So that can be the bank, it can be your friends, it can be a line of credit. That's all OPM. So it was just understanding the how do you use it that kind of clicked when we joined the program. Then it was like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. Right.
You joined in 2021, so just about 2 years ago or so at the time of this recording. Now, what happened since joining the Action family?
A lot happened. So we bought 5 additional properties in 2021. All of them, or 5 in 1 year. It was a busy year.
Wow, that is a busy year. That's a lot of properties, right? So if you're going to get 1 every year or so before, and now 5 in 1 year. Now, did you use other people's money for this one as well? For all 5?
Yes, we did. So in 2021, we kind of focused on 2 markets. So we got introduced to Detroit market in the US through a turnkey provider. So we bought a couple of properties in Detroit, and then
great.
And then in New Brunswick, we also bought 3 properties there.
Okay, so not only did you do 5, you went cross border as well.
Yeah. Yes.
How scary was that? Was that scary? Was that intimidating, or were you excited?
So I think now, because of the kind of network we developed and talking to a lot other people, it made the process a little less daunting. So because we were talking to other people who had actually bought houses in those specific areas. So that kind of made it a little bit better. And then even when you are doing your like purchasing long distance, you still need to do your due diligence as well. So it's not enough to just say, oh, so and so bought there, so I think that's a good decision. You still need to do your due diligence on those. So for our purchases, we went through the whole process of getting a home inspection done on them before we actually finalized on that. And then also
following the system, you're doing all
yeah,
that. That's good.
yeah. So we did that. We also did our own analysis of the rent comparables, because at times when you're buying long distance and you're buying through a wholesaler, they provide you a pro forma which might not be really what's on the ground. So the point being, don't just take what's on the pro forma at face value. You have to actually go and check. If they say insurance is costing so much, ask to see the actual insurance documents that state that. Ask to see the actual tax documents that say this is the taxes that they pay. Rent comparables, you can find your own rent comparables using like online tools. Even Facebook Market, you could get rent comps from there. So you still need to do that kind of work. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's amazing. Okay, so 2021 was a very busy year. Now, what about 2022? Did you stabilize? Did you continue to buy other properties?
Yes. So 2022, in this year, we were focusing on stabilizing what we bought, and then we bought an additional 3 properties during 2022. So a little bit slower, because the first half of the year, the focus was on stabilizing what we purchased. So I think for us, we've kind of seen that when we purchase is more like it goes in cycles. We go through a 3-month period where we're buying a whole lot, and then spend the next 6 months just, okay, let's stabilize what we have. And then we go again into another buying. Yeah.
Well, 8 properties in 2 years. I mean, that's amazing. That's a lot of properties. And I love that you're sharing that as well, the stabilizing period. And for those listeners who are not sure what we're referring to, is that when you have quick growth in a portfolio, certain systems that you may have had before might break, or you might need to implement new strategies, or how do I keep track of this, or do I need a team member, or different things as well, especially if you want to stay fairly hands off as well. And that's what often what Dave and I go through as well. We'll have periods where we have huge growth, and then we stabilize and we review our systems. If we need to make changes, we adapt, and then of course then we'll have another quite often another big growth, and then we restabilize. And that stabilization period as investors, although I think we typically don't like it because we like the buying and the excitement of finding the deals and all that, it's a crucial part of the portfolio. So when you say stabilizing, what was it doing? Was it finding the right property management? Were you doing some renovations throughout that period? What did that look like for you?
Okay, so I'll just speak on the New Brunswick portfolio like as a whole. So including what we bought last year and what we purchased this year, the process on stabilizing was when we bought those properties, we bought properties that were underperforming. So part of stabilizing was trying to increasing the rents. So it's either asking the tenants that were there to giving them notice to increase rent, or waiting for them to move, and then we put in new tenants at a high rate. So with New Brunswick, the challenge that we had was the initial plan when we bought the properties towards the end of the year, and then by the time the new year came, there was the rent control that came in, so we couldn't increase the rents significantly right off the bat. So what we then did was to pivot and focus on moving utilities to the tenants. So that was something you could still do, right? So instead, we gave them a 3-month notice to that in 3 months you're going to be paying your own electrical bill, right? So so that was actually a significant lift to the NOI of the properties, because electrical or hydro was a high expense. So so getting rid of that was actually good just off the bat without even increasing the rent. And then as the year went, people were decided to move on to find other places. So as of November, from the 10 units in New Brunswick, we only have 2 of the original leases in place. So everyone else is in at the new rates or new rent, and everyone is paying their own utility bills. So
Nice.
so that's what we mean by what I mean by stabilization. So that can be one aspect of it, which was our focus. And then a couple of the buildings did need quite a few renovations or some major renovations. So that's also something that we're working on during the year to do those renos. And then now we're at the point where we can finally start refinancing those properties.
Well, and it's important to do that as well, right? To stabilize the asset, to make it a win-win as well with the tenants, as well, where perhaps the place they had, you did something to beautify it as well, or to make it safer and those kind of things as well. So, okay, that's great. Now, are they single dwellings as well? The 8 units you bought over the past 2 years?
No, they are all small multis. So duplexes and fourplex.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you got into the multifamily world as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I find that the small family multifamily for us to be easy. Initially, we were self-managing, so I found that it was easier to manage something that's like a duplex, not like 10 units all at once. Because my husband and I are still both full-time employees.
Okay.
So we were trying to find something that we could manage on our own. And then later, as we bought more, we realized that it's something that now we need to find a property manager, because it was now getting a little bit too stressful trying to deal with tenant calls, and then you still have full-time work and family. So I think the second half of 2022, that's when we got a property manager to manage.
Okay, and that's a big step as well. And I know some of our students, they do it from day one. They outsource everything from day one. We're much the same. We were self-managing for a very long time, but you do get that to that point where you're just you're your own bottleneck. You can't continue to grow because you're not doing that. And if your intentions are to continue to grow, outsourcing or finding a property manager to do it for you just gives you that extra freedom to do that. And especially when you're investing in different areas, right? I mean, it's a must at this point, right? That way they can keep track of what's happening there and give you reports and all those types of things as well. So I guess what's next for you in 2023? What are your 2023 plans?
So for what we have in Canada, 2023 will be focusing on refinancing our portfolio here. And so one thing I should mention is when you're buying, always try and make money in the buy. So with what we bought, all of it was 100% OPM. And the good part on that was we negotiated a good price right from the bat. So with our OPM, we had a 30% vendor take back, and then 70% on private funds. So 100% OPM. Yeah.
When you say private, and that's amazing, 100% OPM, you gotta love that. Now, 70% private fund, do you need this with a financial institution who's open to creative financing, or was it a private lender?
It was a private lender.
Okay, so you didn't even go to a financial institution?
No, we did not.
Wow,
no, we did not.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Wow.
So,
and how are you finding those people? Because I'm sure, people must be thinking, okay, that's great. Like, how are you finding? You bought, that's significant. Eight buildings in 2 years. How many units was that in total?
So I like to break it up by location. So in New Brunswick, it's 10 units. And then in the States, it's 3 single families.
Okay, well, that's great. Yes. So that's 13 units total. That's a lot of funds, that 20% down or 25, depending on the scenario, how much you got for funding here that you had to come up with for down payment. But you did even more than that. You completely went 100% OPM without even financial institutions. How are you finding the people and making it a win-win with them as well?
It's all through networking, really, because with the way we found these deals, especially on the Canadian or the New Brunswick side, it was an initial one was something that somebody was selling. So I got it through the group on Mel and Dave.
Oh, nice.
So yes. So when I was going through the due diligence of that one property, getting an inspection done, we hired an engineer to go and take a look at the basement, because I think one of the beams there was an issue with the beams. So we wanted to make sure that it was a problem that we could actually handle, and so that gentleman went to look at it, and then after that he was like, "Oh, do you guys buy properties?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do." And he was like, "Oh, I have a few buildings that I want to sell." So the remaining 3 buildings came from him.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how we found.
Isn't that so amazing, the power of your network, how you never know how this is going to happen, but you meet one person at a time, and that can be a game changer. And even having these being open to having these conversations as well about creative financing, because if you know how to structure it properly, and I know of course you do, and I know you have your exit strategy and all those important things that you should have as an investor, once you know how to do it, it's duplicatable, which is amazing.
So that was the story of how we ended up having that a bigger New Brunswick portfolio than what we'd initially intended. So anyway, like I said, we got it 100% OPM, and then as part of due diligence, we had an appraisal done. And at that time, before we had even raised rents or anything, we already had 20% equity in each of those properties from day one. So
from day one, 20% equity from day one.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How'd you do that? Because that's pretty amazing.
So we negotiated a good price with the gentleman. So we had an inspection done. We had the appraisal done. The inspection came up with a few minor cosmetic items, which would have cost maybe 10,000 to fix. But we did go back and renegotiate the price, and he agreed. So,
I love that you did your due diligence, because that's so important. Sometimes we can get excited about deals, and in a hurry we skip some important steps, but these important steps can be really, really costly. So I love that you did slow it down. You did your due diligence. There was some issues. You renegotiated it, and then ended up with that 20% equity. That's amazing.
So now when we come to the refi, we know definitely our exit is going to be good. We'll be able to pay back the private lender. We'll be able to pay back the VTP portion for the owner, and still take something home. So another important thing is always to have multiple exit strategies. So in this instance, we could either refinance, we could sell it at a profit, because now the properties are stabilized, we've maximized the rents. So a couple of good exit strategies there.
Well, it sounds like you definitely ran your numbers, you did your due diligence, and that you were able to see exactly ahead of time, because that's what's important, right? You can get 100% deals regularly. That's not the issue. It's not finding the funds typically. It's making sure that you're finding the right deals where you do have that clear exit strategy, and knowing how you're going to pay them back. And now hopefully, who knows, maybe once you pay them back, they might want to reinvest with you into the
Exactly. That's the plan.
That's the plan. Great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump right into a couple of questions here that I always ask on this show. So question number one, what advice, Gugu, would you give to your younger self?
I would tell myself to start looking at real estate earlier.
Okay, earlier.
Yeah. I think that's they always say the best time to invest was yesterday, the next best time is now. So I wish my now had been 10 years ago instead of 4.
Oh, there we go. So yes, whether you're 20 or you're 60, now is clearly always the best time to get started. That's a great one. I love that. Okay, question number 2. What's your number 1 tip you'd give to someone who wants to get started in real estate?
I would say first get an education on how to make real estate work for you. The next thing you could do is, when you're buying your first property, whether it's your primary, try and buy something that you can house hack. So if you only have your 5% for the primary residence, get a house where maybe you could later do a suite in the basement. You might not have the funds now, but you should buy strategically. So yeah, just make the most of it. And if you're young and single, you could even partner with your friends and buy something. Find 5% between the 2 or 3 of you and buy something. Because with real estate, the longer you hold it, the more you create value from it, or the more wealth you'll bring. You'll create. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, and you are literally creating money, right? By holding it over time. It's not overnight, of course. But over time, when you hang on to it, especially if you're buying in the right markets and those kind of things like you're doing, it's going to go up in value over time. So I love that. Thank you for sharing those great tips. Now, how can people reach you, Gugu?
They can reach me on Instagram. My handle is Gugu REI.
Nice.
So that's my handle, Gugu Dube REI. We also have an Instagram page which we're just starting to launch. It's called RB Properties REI. Yeah, so people can get a hold of me on those two.
There you go. Make sure to go follow along her journey. So that's great. Thank you so much for being on our show. I love how you had that roadblock after even buying a couple properties, and then boom, you decided to take action, get that knowledge, and of course then implement everything, because that piece is up to you, and that you did it not only in Canada but in the States as well. So congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You'd also asked about what's next. So another crazy idea we're looking into is buying some short-term rentals in Mexico.
Oh,
wow. So that's the next new adventure that we're going on.
Oh, that's fantastic. We just recently, I don't know if you knew that or not, we recently purchased in Mexico as well. I can introduce you to somebody if you need an introduction. So send me an email. Gugu, you're part of the Action family. I'll be able to introduce you to InvestFocus.
Yes, I think I know who you're talking about because I attended the webinar. So we have been in touch with him, and then a few other developers as well. We're actually going to Mexico tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
For 3 weeks. And the idea there is to just go through all the different locations. So we're going to Cancun, we're going to Playa, Tulum, and Merida. So 4 different places. So So again, it's part of my due diligence, because with most properties I've bought, I've actually gone to scope out the area myself. So it's part of the due diligence process for us, and some fun for us and the kids too.
That's great.
There.
Yeah, well, Mexico as well, in March with the kids, and our plan will probably take a day and maybe go look at a couple of developments or things that we're working on behind the scenes as well. But that's really neat. So so Canada, the US, and now you're looking at Mexico. That's super exciting. What's your why Mexico?
So with Mexico, what I like is that you have all the amenities of living in a Western country, but the cost of living is not as much as in Canada. So that's what was attractive for me. So for me, I'm thinking more long-term, like retirement, and beautiful weather. Obviously, that's great. They have great schools as well for kids. There's some great private schools for kids, and so you get to live a really luxurious life with less. That's our why for Mexico. And then overall why is because we just want to diversify our income. So we don't just want to rely on Canadian markets. So that's why we've been in Canada, we're in the US, and now possibly going to Mexico as well. So just trying to diversify our income, because our plan is to retire in the next 5 years. So we're grinding now to make that dream possible.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And how exciting is that to get to that point where all of a sudden you've worked hard to get there, right? It's a journey, of course. It didn't happen overnight, but you stuck through it. I'm sure you went through some roadblocks and you pushed through those as well, of course. But now you're at a stage already where you're looking at retiring for significantly at a young age, which is so amazing. So I love that. You're going to have to keep us posted inside the action on your journey and how your Mexico trip goes.
Yes, I definitely will. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Best of luck with your Mexico upcoming deals, and we'll chat soon inside the Action family.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor being invited to Women of Action. Yeah.
I love at the end how now she's not only investing in Canada and the US, that she's hitting the Mexico market as well. This is the power of creative financing. You can take the same strategies and use it in different areas. Thank you so much for being on our show, Gugu. I much enjoyed our conversation and can't wait to see what you'll do next. And if you like this type of video, make sure to check out this other Woman of Action. I'm Mel, and I'll see you there.